Hello everybody, this is a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming, and welcome back to the Weekend Warrior. Heading back in with GAWGZ, but not in our typical fashion for this series. Let's go ahead and log in, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So anyway, you'll notice that there's a new posting there on the BBS, and I've also got a new email to read with GAWGZ. However, that's for the offline story, and this week we are taking a slight departure from our run through the story mode here, and we're going to be heading online to see if we can't just get ourselves a GAWGZ and some more levels at the very least. First thing we have to do, head into the lobby, and look for GAWGZ University Station. That and Crab Server are near mirror copies of each other. The main difference between the two is that DAO has gone through the hard work of translating just about everything you can translate on here. There's still a couple things here and there, but for the most part, they've done a fantastic job translating everything to English, which is a language I could sort of parse together, as opposed to everything else that I just stare blankly at. And if you've ever played Fragment for any length of time, you know exactly who DAO is, because in one way or another they've probably answered a question you've had or helped you out with something. So, big thanks there. Logging in now. Check our items real quick. Full on health drinks. Got a good amount of other items. Before going too much further here. Yeah, I didn't think I'd been to GAWGZ before with GAWGZ. So I'm just going to go ahead, pull up my nifty little cheat sheet here. Always helps to come prepared, as the translations for the items are in English, but the keywords very much in Japanese. There we go. Now I've got the information I'm looking for, got the keywords at the ready. There we go, level 8 Waterfield. Seems a bit under-leveled for us at level 11, but in all honesty, it's not that big a difference. Taking a quick look at the status page, we've only got about 223 experience to go to level 12. Our goal is going to be somewhere around level 15. Getting Rigsame and Riggeem out of these two portals. Going ahead and casting our Aptorv, helping with that physical accuracy, also threw a speed charm up. And now let's see what we can get into here. First floor is empty, got two more symbols here, giving us App Anid and App Gans, so boosting our darkness and earth elements. And the second floor equally barren. One more set of symbols here on the third, refreshing Rigsame and Riggeem. Really can't get a much better break out of it than that before we hit our first portal. And we're up against shield men. Plenty of shield men that are just going to be wreaking all sorts of havoc on our ability to hit accurately. Well, that was a heck of an ability. Unfortunately, it was only one target. So we've still got to run around here hacking and hacking and hacking away. Nicely, though, we are getting 50 experience per shield man. Hit a skill drain. Picked up Executioner, which would be a fantastic weapon for us with the Death Strike ability. But I think we've already got better, so we're just going to stick with what we got. Got a Deathbringer there, which was a one-hit kill, but still just one target. Even our spell is a single target spell. So yeah, there will be no mass death dealing here. We're just going to have to mow them down one by one. Aren't you happy you're here for it? All kinds of skill drains. Finally get that last shot in. By then the debuff wears off. Fortunately, those physical accuracy debuffs they're hitting us with, Deck Torv if you will, not lasting all that long. Can also be directly countered by casting App Torv. In a similar way, if you are slowed down, using a speed charm will fix that 100%. Take down 3 in rather swift succession. You'll also notice we're picking up some fairly nice items here, like an Ice Hunter cap, plenty of the moon. May have noticed I didn't bother with App Torv earlier, because why bother when they're just going to debuff again? We'll go ahead and cast it here though. And instantly you could see before we're even out of our casting animation, our accuracy is back down. So all that really did was waste time and cost us hit points. But hey, lesson learned. Back to the mowing down of the things. Rig Same and Rig Beam have worn off, notoriously short fuses on those. Go ahead, heal ourselves back up with some rep, and throw the accuracy up for what little we have it. You'll notice we're not casting a second rep or burning a consumable, just sort of letting the SP regenerate at this point. Although with Spirit Drain, Skill Drain, my apologies, with Skill Drain on the weapon, there is a very good chance that we're back up to 32 before we realize it. All the hits seem to be woefully vanilla in the first part of this battle. I accidentally pick up the moon from a chest, trying to swing wildly at a shield man. And at this point, it's just a matter of numbers. So, back-to-back skill drains there, but I'm pretty sure we were up to full anyway. This time we will take the extra moment and go ahead and cast that second rep. Loot the room, and just before we walk through, pop another speed charm. 2 treasure chests, and the stairs down indicate yet another floor cleared. Pat ourselves on the back for that. Grab some App Vax and App GAWGZ out of this particular set of symbols here to start the fourth, and reapply App Torv before moving into the next chamber. Of course, by now you know it's second burst, same as the first. We're just going to run into room after room of shield men here, because that's what the GAWGZ and run is all about. There's our level to 12. So we did not come here in vain, even if we don't get GAWGZ. And I'm not gonna lie, I would really like to get GAWGZ. This is actually doing us two very important things, and we'll go over that here at the end. But for now, it's just a matter of keeping on trucking, as it were. See, no matter what, I try and stick on one the entire way through, just to get it out of the road before we have to deal with too many of them wandering around. The problem is, when they're hit, they do tend to just randomly roam around the screen. The enemies do make a concerted effort to switch up whoever you're auto-targeting, as your hero will typically go for the closest monster in range. And that makes life a little bit tricky when you're trying to hit the same monster in combat. Took a bit of a gamble not healing there, but I feel the extra health and the extra level is actually going to help us a bit. You could see on a full damage hit, we're actually coming just 1 damage shy of one-shotting these shield men. We're doing 129. Very dangerous position here, where the shield men we're attacking are close to some risky treasures. Good time to break out the spells, because an errant circle press can put you in a world of hurt by accidentally triggering those chests without a fortune wire. Here we're picking up an ice hunter cap and a raccoon ear cap, along with a pair of the moon. See, with our level, we're getting slightly less experience per kill. We're only getting 4 per. Still in that really solid range for fragment experience. Again, being very wary around the risky treasure. One, because I don't want to accidentally put myself in a position where I'm cursed or dying. And 2, because I would really like the item inside of that treasure chest. And here you could see another beautiful thing about farming dungeons. They reward handsomely. So high risk, but exceptionally high reward as we pick up the Devil, a Winter Coat, an Ice Storm, a Raccoon Ear Cap, an Ice Hunter Cap. Make that a pair of Ice Hunter Caps, all before running to the end of the room and getting a 2 off of the moon. All of that in one room. See the monster slyly getting out of my way there? And me slyly getting out of that treasure chest's way. I will happily catch Juke Cruise there for the quick kill. So we are starting to get fleshed out a bit as a character here. We've got magic spells, we've got healing, our stats are starting to really develop. Reapply speed charm, cast rep. In all reality, I should have probably done those in the opposite order. You could see App Vax and App GAWGZ knocking off. 2 treasure chests, so we were safe either way. Once again, picking up a 2 off of the moon there. Floor 5. This should be our bottom floor for this particular dungeon. We get App Vax and App Room, buffing our fire and water elements respectively. Tell you what, for single target damage, we are kind of mowing these down. Again, to be expected, we're now, 4 levels over what the farming dungeon is rated at. So it's not like we weren't expecting to have a successful run. Was a little worried heading into the dungeon here because I had forgot to cast Rep. But the shield men are just on a missing streak. One finally makes contact for 21 damage there, but by the time that happens, there's only 3 remaining. Also noticed we didn't get debuffed yet. Perhaps they gave up on that trick, or perhaps we just had lucky timing here. Either way, more than happy to take it. No extracurricular treasure chest drops there, so we'll take our 2 off of the moon and move happily forth. There's our all dungeon portals clear. Excellent news for us, as we were kind of getting tired of whacking at these things like a whack-a-mole game anyway, so just finish off these last 4 here, get our virus core. You'll find virus cores just about the final floor of most farming dungeons. Usually it's the room right before, but I have seen exceptions. Picked up a nice flow there. And what are we getting out of this risky treasure? Frost armor. Picking up a nice virus core F, and further in we go. Pulling a defense sword, a grunty doll, and a health charm. So nothing super crazy out of that. You can see from our status, we are 238 experience to the road to level 13 there. So all in all, we gained about 450 experience in here. Longtime contributor to the community, server host, player, coder. Also speedran Infection, if I remember correctly. Now, as I was saying, you got a lot of equipment there. We're sitting at 2,270 gold. And after selling off our extra stuff, Rondo, pair of those will go for 600. Executioner, that I forgot was a Blade Master weapon. I was thinking of Slayer, that's on me. Defense Sword can go as well. We're going to hold on to Soul Linker, and we're going to hold on to the highest gold point value in each of our equipment drops, just for items for trade in the Spring of Mist. So 3 Raccoon Ear caps go in, 4 Ice Hunter caps. Moving to the armor, we will get rid of the Winter coats and the Frost armor. And just like that, we're up over 12,000. 13,000 when we sell off the Grunty doll, and now we get into the scrolls, of which we have a plethora. 26 copies of the moon out of that dungeon. And a health charm. Now go ahead and buy the 3 speed charms I lost, and you could see just a massive profit to be made there. I jumped in here primarily because the item shop is selling consumables at the level we're using. Hongik is based on Netslum, which is an endgame root town. So buying healing elixirs at this point, a little too rich for our blood and really not necessary. However, we can go ahead, get our antidotes and restoratives up to 90 apiece. Still want to hold on to some cash in reserve. Yeah, that sets us up pretty nicely. Still have 7,000 gold in reserve, and we've got 90 on our health potions, mage's souls, antidotes, and restoratives. And we're up to 60 on resurrects. So we're getting there. Check and make sure. Nope, nothing we're tossing into the Elf's Haven for storage. Now, another reason we're here is because this is yet another great place to pick up some levels. Salty stewed sardine. Aside from being a lot of S words that I apparently can't say smoothly at the time of this recording, it's a level 16 field, and that sounds right up our alley. It's 5 above us in a fire element field, but I feel we could take that risk. And in we go. Desert field, middle of the day. Should mean oh no melons are about. Also, we shouldn't be running into clusters of 8 shield men, so Aptorv may actually matter. Time to go clear out this field. Right away, a couple sled dogs. Not hitting them super hard, are we? Getting a little risky as a killer snaker hops in as well, and we burn a health potion. But you can kind of see the payoff already, as our first sled dog kill nets us 13 experience. Now the snaker, we're actually gonna go ahead, retreat a little, and use that juke cruise. Elemental hit there for 344. One more time. That gets it down to about 500. And at that point, we could safely just charge in and thwack away for all it's worth. One more should do it, and there we go. Have just enough for a quick rep. And that's 19 experience. Pick up some Appario there. Not sure exactly how useful that's going to be for us. You hear the oh no melons in the background. But we've got 3 sled dogs to worry about first, so... Got tied up in one of the longer attack animations. Finally take a sled dog out. Very big to get one of those off the board. Mitigate the damage coming in. See, we hit critical health there for a second. Kind of pausing whatever I'm doing anytime I hear an enemy spell firing off. And now that it's one-on-one, I feel very safe in our ability to take this battle. We apparently picked Rig Geem up out of the other symbol there on the way in, and that's a nice little bonus. Getting the lovers there. Means we have absolutely no qualms casting Rep twice here, the old healing double tap. Pick up our oh no melons. Already 322 experience. And just like last time, we get a couple quick hits in on the Killer Snaker, and it's time to retreat and let GAWGZ do its work. Now when we come in for our final attack, it's down to only 137 hit points, and we could data drain right now if we so chose. But it's the experience we're after here, so let's go ahead and get that kill and that quality 19 XP. EXP if you want to be particular, that's how it's abbreviated in this particular game, but either one's fine by me. Goblin Wizard, we definitely don't want that hanging around too long, so it gets our first sword slash. And now the rest for the sled dog. Really clean battle for us, actually. Almost make it out without a single scratch, and then another sled dog comes up from behind and drops a fireball on the dome. Practicing that vertical slash from the looks of things. Our rig game wore off, but for the time we had it, it was certainly more than useful. Also wearing off our speed charm, and when that goes, we know Aptorv is not far behind. Either way, it did help us. We cleared a good 4 or 5 portals in that time. Go ahead, grab that Korma. Nice little magic attack up, so if we run into another Killer Snaker, all the more wood element damage coming its way. Got a Goblin Whiz there. Lowers our magical defense, but we go ahead and take care of it before that can really amount to anything. And even the Goblin Whiz, which is a small enemy, and probably the physically least imposing thing we're going to run into out here, is giving us 8 experience. Picked up another Raccoon Ear Cap and a Nodachi. Treasure chest out of this portal, giving us the levers. Now we have this nice little V shape of portals before finishing off right by the dungeon. It may take a little longer to get through these beefier medium enemies and large size enemies, but there is a safety at lower levels, and really at most levels, of fighting these larger spawns because you're not swarmed by 4 monsters at a time, meaning that you can only really take 1 or 2 attacks against at a time. So it allows you to play a bit more fast and loose with your hit point margins. And if you get a lucky miss like that, you find you weren't even threatened by the creatures, even if they were rather imposing. Another Killer Snaker. We know what we want to do, hang back here. A little bit of bad news for us is the first GAWGZ missed, but the other 2 were elemental hits, and just like that, it's down under 400 health. Sakabato makes quick work of the remaining hit points. And we made that Killer Snaker seem like chump change, even though it's giving us 19 experience. Already up to 441. Got another Killer Snaker here, and thanks to the skill drain and the passage of time, we're able to launch right into the spell attacks. 1 elemental hit, but the other 2 still hit for normal damage. Boosted slightly by the Korma that we picked up in that previous symbol. Big elemental hit, dropping the Killer Snaker under 100. and then the final 75 taken out on a single strike. Gonna kind of roundabout near the portal, but not close enough to trigger it because I would like to heal before anything else. Now charging in. Couple more sled dogs, probably a safe call to heal there, because if our accuracy doesn't stay up to snuff, these things can make pretty quick work of us. See there, again, timing my heal at the most opportune moment. Really saved my bacon there. I was playing very aggressively with my hit points. Not gonna take that chance twice though. And we get through the pair. 13 more experience. Lone sled dog this time, and we are not scared of a lone sled dog in the least. See us already. GAWGZ has it under half. Take it out before the casting animation can finish, so no damage, just fire. And picking up an Ice Hunter cap to boot. One more Speed Charm and Aptorv. And since the Spring of Mist is right between this portal and the dungeon, I guess we'll hit that right after we finish with these 3 sled dogs. Yet another health drink consumed right after that fire spell. But it's sort of a reset button for our hit points, and rather necessary one as we go up against the final 2. One-on-one, even at half health, I feel confident in our ability as long as we're hitting to finish the deal. And there we go, 87 health remaining, but 3 sled dogs in the tank. And a risky treasure as a nice little bonus reward. So far we've been pulling that, teen leveled ice armor, and the raccoon ear cap there, much the same. Almost passed up on the hangman in that normal chest, because honestly I didn't hear the little chime of it going off. Before we head into the spring, we'll stop and kill this killer snaker. Important thing to mention about Fragment: enemies can and will attack you while you're interacting with the Spring of Mist. That's why it's probably not the best idea of me to leave that portal outstanding, but it's well out of our range, so I'm not terribly worried about it. And why it's always good to have an extra party member, that way you can actually go ahead and go through the spring while they cover your back. Finish off the snaker with some magic after a timely skill drain, and are rewarded with yet another risky treasure. Winter coat out of that. Now it is a bright sunshiny day here on the field, so I'm probably going to throw a weapon in. We could throw the Nodachi in and get it leveled up for a more expensive heavy blade weapon that we're going to end up selling. Or we could throw the Soul Linker in, which may be a bit too strong for this particular Monsieur or Grandpa. But there's always the chance this could be upgraded, and if not, we'll be getting it back with a golden axe and a silver axe. I tend to go this route because the golden and silver axe trading NPCs and offline tend to have the better gear. So we'll take neither on that choice. Grandpa will inspect what we dropped. And then he'll confide to us that he is in fact a level 1 grandpa and he can't really do anything with a level 23 heavy blight weapon. So as we expected, the Soul Linker comes right back in the company of a golden and silver axe. Got a symbol right there by that buried claw. Make that 2 off. And hey, it's a refresher on Aptorv. Got 3 more sled dogs here, and that'll finish off the field, as you can see by that wonderful graphic. Got a little too carried away there and almost ended up dying. There we go. 262 with 1 sled dog remaining. That's kind of where we want to be. That's a nice comfortable spot. And now we know we're about halfway to the next level before taking on the dungeon. And inside we go. So tough to get a close-up without accidentally making your character transparent. Pop a fairy's orb here. And reapply buffs just for paranoia's sake. See, this is one of the vaunted flesh dungeons, with 1.5 miles of ribcage to start us off. And even more sled dogs, so if you loved them in the outdoor bright light, you'll love them here in the neon underground. Just landing shot after shot on these sled dogs. Really trying to keep careful track of our hit points, but also don't want to be burning consumables willy-nilly when spells post-combat will do just fine. Not 100% which direction we want to go, so I will take a guess, and sure enough, this is a dead end on this side. Pick up the Hanged Man out of that chest, and an antidote out of that egg.
Bloody egg!
Speaking of egg, there's a bloody egg. Bloody eggs and golden eggs should be found in this dungeon. Going up against the 3 sled dogs and running right to the middle there. Probably the tactically worst decision I could have made. As you can see, all it did was open me up to every single attack. And gives them full maneuverability around me, so before anything else happens, we'll get back on our first target and take it out. Nice thing is, we did get about 40% of the damage done on the second sled dog, meaning that that's an easy kill, and thanks to that missed fireball, we've now got a commanding position on the 3rd and final sled dog. 3rd chest pops up. 2 were originally in the room, and 1 popped up during combat. It is of the risky variety. Speaking of the risky style treasure, a 4th treasure chest appears as we're finishing up. Huh. Seems I misread the floor. And we've got a stairs down here. As much as I would normally try and kill everything in our path, Do feel in the interest of time, sitting there and backtracking is not to the advantage. Skill drain, again, working very well for us. Sakabato is making a wonderfully balanced attack for us, allowing us to go in, get those skill points, and come back out and safely take the killer snaker out at a distance. Picking up a meteor swarm there. Got some Goblin Whiz here. Really want to take those guys out before it's too big an issue. Saw one cast stay back Rom at us. We were able to take the other two out, even despite taking a wild swing at the sled dog to start off the battle. We were able to take two out before they could cast, and that is all the advantage we could hope for. Ice Hunter cap there. Hanged Man. Nothing out of that warrior's body, but we do get a bloody egg there. And a risky treasure in this portal. Ice Helm and a Fire Tempest. 717, so as long as this is at least a 3-floor dungeon, I feel relatively safe about hitting our next level here, even without the backtracking. And even if it is close, I could always go ahead and kill a few more enemies in the field before leaving. Another nice long bony corridor here to open up the second floor. Have the fairies investigate, and before we head into the next room, we will reapply our speed charm and buff. As you saw, there are stairs down at the very top middle of this map. Have at least a couple portals as well, so everything boding the way we wanted it to bode. Empty skeleton there. Pick up an antidote out of the second one.
Bloody egg.
Bloody egg beckoning us forth. However, the drier one, just nothing in it. Gonna skip that skeleton, go right for the Fire Tempest in that chest, and head to the far right of the map here, where we've got a large room with a portal at the opposite end of the cutout. Got an Ochimusha and a Goblin Whiz. Don't know how I missed the Goblin Whiz at first, but completely blanked on its existence. Seems we have a little trail of rooms with portals leading off of this. Oof. Overran our target in the Goblin Whiz. Oof. That debuff on the magical defense was just the absolute worst thing we could have got there. As you could see, the sled dog hit us for an absolute ton. Got some bonus sound effects out of me too. Got sort of locked in place by animations there. Eventually we do make it out. Debuff wears off and we get rid of the Ochimushas, so it's down to 1-on-1. Experience-wise, that'll go down as a fairly rewarding little encounter. As far as the pacing of battle goes, that was a full-on near-death experience. Picking up a winter coat there because we deserve something for that. 2 sled dogs here, and we are happy for a nice vanilla 2 sled dog portal after the scare we had last room. Let's keep hitting for those 81s. Pop another health drink. You can see why we kept that little stash of cash, because we'll need to buy a bunch of health drinks coming out of this. but it will be worth it as we're using our money to advance our level and get us in a better position to make more later. The old spend money to make money cliche in full effect. Picking up a worm scale there. Goblin Whiz. Get rid of them, and thankfully they're just attacking for damage. Saw an App Corv cast by the Ochimusha, so it's got an attack boost, and now it's tossing one the sled dog's way. Can't be having that. Both go for combo attacks. We, of course, finish the job shortly thereafter, meaning that we may not have been the better swordsman overall, but we certainly were in that moment. Finishing up with that branch there, taking a moment to check in. 833 experience. Now it's time to make our way towards the entrance to the 3rd level. Got at least one more portal to face before getting there. Also looks like we have a treasure chest to grab en route as well. Go right after the Goblin Whiz. And now it's about the Ochimusha. Don't let it distract us too much so we can go ahead and pop that health drink before challenging the sled dog. And just like that, the portal is dealt with. Yet another risky treasure here. Picking up the Hanged Man. Our speed charm wears off with just one portal to go. Absolutely worth it for me to get that back up and running and Aptorv. Two Ochimusha could be a bad time all around. So let's go ahead and take care of one of them real quick before everything in this combat gets buffed. Then the second Ochimusha goes down, and now it's us at half health versus a sled dog that we are putting near half health. I really like our chances here. Finish the sled dog off. Couple rep for good measure. And now it's clear sailing to the 3rd floor. Again, for fans of pure damage, Life Drinker would, Soul Drinker would make an adequate sword here. Certainly perform very well with the 30 attack, and would absolutely be a service to you with Lifesteal. But Sakabato's versatility speaks to me, as does the fact that with Aptorv up at level 12, we've got an accuracy of 67. Which is ridiculously good for that level. 2 Goblin Whiz to open up the 3rd floor, and as you could see, just off to the side of this room looks suspiciously like a statue room. So it's time to go investigating and see if in fact our journey is near its end. Certainly would appear that way so far, but we have already been fooled once today. Ooh, couple Scarlet Kings, that's never any good to see, as we've got attack boosts coming out of everything. Go ahead and use an Earth Element attack. Try and blast our way through that first Scarlet King. Do so rather successfully, honestly. Still a couple SP shy of doing it again. Nope, seems we need 20 for that attack. Now the Scarlet King's physical accuracy is up, and the Ochimusha's physical attack is up. See what a Deathbringer can bring us. That's 126 damage dealt to the Ochimusha. A nice little start on its way to oblivion. Got a treasure chest right behind us. That's going to give us the moon, and the golden egg is going to give us a delicious source of lean protein for the next grunty we raise. Okay, maybe not the leanest of protein, as I'm imagining the golden egg is like 80% yolk. Feel free to let me know if I'm wrong on that. Goblin Wiz, Ochimusha, and Scarlet King, and we're going after them in order of fewest hit points to most here. Just because we can. Get a big elemental attack there, just hacking that Scarlet King down. And then a skill drain, meaning that we can turn right back around and cast a rep worry-free. See, we're picking up 17 experience off those giant mushroom boys. Putting us just 10 experience away from leveling here. Ooh, did not notice the Goblin Wiz at first. And we get cut off by a spell on our way to intercept it. Now it's time to take out the Scarlet Kings. Hoping for another big elemental hit there, and it delivers, but the third strike misses. All in all, we still get enhanced damage on the overall attack. Certainly worth the time and the SP. Now we just have to hope for a skill drain, or just some consistent damage here. There's our skill drain. Taking just too much damage from the Scarlet King, and we have to use another health drink. But better safe than sorry in that particular instance, especially when sorry levels us down. Grabbing another ice helm out of that chest with just 2 portals to go on this floor. Now remember, we won't be getting an all clear here because of those portals I skipped on the first floor. I could always run back up and get them for the sake of the all clear, but in all honesty, it's not worth your time or really mine, as we've already achieved our goal here. Not much to do at this point, but finish out what of the dungeon lies in front of us, grab the treasure, and claim our victory. Finally get that Goblin Wiz out of the way before it can threaten us. Ochimusha gone as well. And now it's time to go 1-on-2 with the Scarlet Kings. There's our skill drain. Still no elemental hit. Still 221 damage. As you can see, our buff's worn off there. Get one more shot at it though. And we do get the elemental hit on the final strike, and despite the middle portion of that combo missing, the third strike is more than enough to do it. One more speed charm just to get us in gear, and now it's time to race to the statue room. fun pair of dungeons in this edition of the Weekend Warrior. Now, one thing I would like to address while I'm backtracking here is you could absolutely go ahead and stop in a server like Hongic or Crab with NetSlum, run some farming dungeons for a whole ton of money, and get very high leveled gear. You could get level 70 gear just from that shop there. Statistically, it is amazing. Unfortunately, you won't really be able to do anything with the abilities. That's why I'm intentionally sticking with stuff that's reasonable for my level. A little over the top, but not obscenely so, because I want to be able to use what I have and still get a tangible statistical benefit. Also, if you go too high, you just go tens of levels without finding any useful gear, and that's just no fun. Speaking of fun, there's Ifrit, the worldwide leader in fun and pointing at you with a stony, bony finger. And there is our statue chest. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Got some hands of fire, a health drink. Make that 2 on the health drinks so they know exactly what we were using. Like we said, the Nodachi, not going to be our weapon of choice. We've already been through most of these armor options at one point or another. Hands of Fire at level 23 offer us an interesting choice, but I feel that would, between the Hands of Fire and the Fire Lizard, that would put our water element precariously low. So again, nothing really there to get, but a couple things to sell. And we did happen to meet our big goal of leveling up twice. Going to head back to town now, where I will finish selling up this gear, and then save up and prepare for more adventures down the road. Do plan on hopping intermittently online with GAWGZ, probably not going to capture too many more of them and keep the Weekend Warrior focused more or less on the travails of the offline story. But hopefully this was a fun little departure. Hopefully the battles were engaging and exciting, and hopefully you enjoyed watching. Thank you for stopping in, and we will see you around.